about y'all and ain't gonna be personal. You think if they say y'all and ain't gonna get personal.
Buff Nation, what's going on, everybody? I thought I'd hop on here for a little pre-game party, and we can go over the list of visits that we have coming in today. I think everybody that's visiting Boulder today for homecoming, I think it should be a nice evening from what I see on the weather report. That's right, we're going to get David Puck's meteorology today. I think the weather's going to be good, but I'm pumped about the visit list that we got. And everybody's committed to another school, so that's going to be great drama. And it's flip season. I thought that I would throw that offensive tackle from USC that's visiting on here because that should be a lot of fun. I haven't given up on Juju Lewis yet. I want to see this man flip to being a Buff, right? We got to win. We got to take care of business today against Baylor. I think we will. And yes, Zion, no rain. The Buffs got lucky. About damn time, right? About damn time, guys. I wish we had Arizona State on the schedule. They're 3-0, man, but they're vulnerable. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's go ahead and get into it. Smash that like. Let me know your score prediction in the comments. Who's going to be our best player of the day? Guys, this is your chance to just riz on all the players. Whether they're amazing or bad, this is your time to call your shot. And I'm going to be live with Carter Dillon of Let's Talk Broncos. I'm going to have, or Let's Talk Buffs after the game today. So y'all just tune in for the conversation. But guys, I got to wear my Carter Stoutmeyer jersey again after what we saw last week. Let's keep this thing going. Looks like USC is going to lose today in Ann Arbor. I picked them to lose. It's such a beautiful thing, Zion. Zion, today is your day. You picked the Buffs to win, right? You picked the Buffs to win. Did you have like a score prediction? Hopefully you stay right the rest of the day. But I've teased you guys too long. Courtesy of Jack Harlow, not Jack Harlow. Let's get to this article that he put out here on Colorado Buffalo's Wire. Again, go follow him on Twitter if you haven't. He's a great follow. And hopefully you guys can see this okay. And I'll get to your comments here in just a minute. So, notable recruits coming in. So right now we have 7 2025 commits. If you guys need to be reminded about that, I'll hit that here in just a minute. But let's get into this. Byron Baldwin coming in. He posted this on Twitter. Buff Nation, let Deion Sanders know I'm coming. That's right. Looking great. Bringing the Louie over here. Indiana commit. All right. From Baltimore, Maryland. 6'1", 190 pounds. This is a 4-star safety per 24/7. The number 20th safety nationally. Hey, I think that sounds kind of nice. Working with Carter Stoutmeyer, Savion Riley. Now we add somebody like Byron Baldwin in here. And, Indiana, I think, is a program on the rise. I always forget the name of the head coach that's taking over there, but it seems like he's doing a good job kind of building that program back from nothing. It's very important for us to finish with a better record than Indiana. Like, we need to do that this year and get ourselves in a position to flip some of these guys that are in Big Ten territory. 2025, this is really cool. For all you guys complaining about in-state recruiting, I'm not really one that complains, but I do like to see it. Mikhail Benner from Broomfield, Colorado. This is one of the better programs in the state of Colorado, out in Broomfield. 2025 cornerback, 6 feet, 175 pounds. This is a top 250 recruit, 174 nationally. So that's great to see. Right now, he's an Air Force commit. I think definitely we can flip somebody to stay in state like Mikhail Benner here, especially with where our program's going. I believe where it's going. And I mean, Air Force has had a tough year right now, but would would love to see him flip his commitment to the Buffs later on. This is the one that I'm most excited about. Carde Smith, gonna be in Boulder, 2025 offensive tackle recruit from Mobile, Alabama. Guys, he's already 6'6", 300 pounds. 26th offensive tackle nationally, according to 24/7. Another 4-star guy. Again, committed to the USC Trojans. Could we get a double flip from USC later this year, baby? Julian Lewis and Carde Smith. That sounds great to me. And with what we've seen right now from our offensive line, we're an improved offensive line. Phil Oldholt betting on himself, 1-year deal. Let's see how this line progresses. You want to see another strong performance this week coming up against a formidable opponent in Baylor. Another safety, Antonio Branch Jr., Penn State commit, Miami, Florida, 6'2", 172 pounds, the number 28th safety nationally, 3-star player. Love to see that Florida pipeline out here to Colorado still going. So maybe we get one of these flips between the safeties of Baldwin Jr. or Branch Jr. Now, moving forward to some of the other classes, we have 2026 corner Hayward Howard Jr. He's going to be here from New Orleans, Louisiana. Rawhide's going to be happy about hearing about that. The Louisianimals making a visit out here to Boulder, Colorado. 6'2", 170 pounds already. Man. Nice size. Love it. 2027 wide receiver Landon Wolny. Fort Myers, Florida, right out of Prime's backyard. 6'4", 210 pounds. And maybe he's already made it to one of these CU camps, it looks like. So that's nice. 2027 defensive end Jaxson Sanders coming in here. Another in-state guy from Parker, 6'2", 210 pounds. Let's see what he develops into. If you guys aren't familiar with this, Parker is just south of Denver. It's like a suburb. 2028 offensive lineman or defensive lineman Davis Moon. Nice to see some versatility. And hey, shouting out Matt McChesney. Love to see that 6-0 Academy. Did we get another 6-0 Academy right here from Jaxson Sanders? So that's great. Love to see that pipeline developing. That's awesome. Highlands Ranch out here in Colorado. More in-state recruits, 6'3", 270 pounds. And again, a few years out from kind of seeing how much weight they really put on before they enter their freshman year. And looks like, similar to Matt McChesney, has the ability to play on both the offensive line and defensive line. Where's he going to end up? We'll just have to see. Go Valor football. Valor Christian's where Christian McCaffrey played. If you guys aren't familiar. 2025 linebacker. Hey, Coach Hart, you're getting on my good side now. You're getting on my good side. I love to see more linebackers visiting. See you this weekend from Castle Rock, Colorado. 6 foot, 205 pounds. Love to see that. And then this is cool. 2026 quarterback DJ Bordeaux. I believe he might have already come out here for an unofficial, maybe. And I guess this would still be an unofficial because he's 2026. I can't remember when things are official or not official. But out of Douglasville, Georgia, 6'2", 195 pounds, wonderful size. 35th quarterback nationally, 3-star. I believe I might have done a video on him. But anyways, he's in town. And again, credit to Jack Carlo for putting this out. Please follow him on Twitter if you haven't yet. He does wonderful articles on this. Now, if we're wondering, do we need a reminder on our 25 commits? I sure do. Oh man, ASU's right up here at the goal line, their own goal line. Let's see what Tech can do. They get out of there, Scattaboo. So right now, what do we got? We got Chauncey Gooden from Lipscomb Academy out there in Nashville, committed. 4-star, 91 overall. Love to see that. Quinell X. Farrakhan Jr., 4-star, wide receiver out of Houston, Texas. Alex Graham. Did he move back to Detroit? Cass Technical out of Detroit, Michigan. He was originally at IMG. 89 overall, 3-star guy. Mantrez Walker out of Buford, Georgia. Matas backyard. 88 overall, 3-star guy, Zane D'Souza. He was at our last home game, and yeah, he was at our game against North Dakota State, I believe, and maybe he shows up again because, again, he's just down the road out in Loveland, Colorado. 86 overall, athlete, probably going to play tight end, I would assume. I love that he's committed here. And then we also got Corbin Lejour, another tight end out of Tennessee. 85 overall, and then a prospect that maybe is a little bit more green than Chauncey Gooden, but plenty of size, just like Zach Owens, Peyton Kirkland, some freshman transfers we've had come out here. Jay Gardenhire transferring from New Jersey out to West Bloomfield, Michigan for his senior season, 6'8", 350. So we got 7 commits right now. Hopefully, we're able to hit the high school a little bit harder this year than what we saw last year. I would love it if we could get up to 15 to 20 commits in this high school class. I'm probably overestimating like I normally do, though. Just being honest. So those are the guys that we got. But I love to see that we're going after more offensive linemen. Hopefully, we can start kind of stacking more defensive linemen. We've seen the improvement on the defensive line that we have, but a lot of our guys are upperclassmen right now. So hopefully we can start to make some noise there. If Robert Livingston, I think, has a really strong performance from the defense this week, you might see more kind of top prospects start to take interest in what's going on out here. So ultimately, all this stuff is great news. The Buffs got to take care of what they can control, though, and that is making sure they get wins on the board. More wins you get, more guys are going to want to come here. That's the biggest pitch. You want to play for a winning program, right? Let's turn the corner. Let's get to 3-1 against Baylor tonight, right? And I'll just take some of your comments. If you guys got any random questions, thoughts, put them in the chat. Shoot me a super chat if you want me to get a cup of coffee, but I'll talk with you guys here for a little bit. A little pregame party, no doubt. Looks like USC is going to lose today in Ann Arbor. I picked them to lose. Yes, Zion. Already read this one, but I just had to hit on this again. I love it. If USC loses, I think that goes in our favor, right? Right? It's fun to cheer against USC. Sorry for the few USC fans that are in here, They've been great to talk with. I'm Water Guy. I want the reporter asking about the weather after a Buffs win. Yes, that's wonderful. I'll bring up my iPhone weather app because y'all are telling me, Dave, use the iPhone weather app. I wasn't using it. So as you can see, Boulder, 68 degrees, much cooler than out here in San Antonio. Well, actually not. Actually, yeah, it is. It's in the freaking 90s. I was looking at LA for some reason. Okay. So 68 degrees. And then we got just cloudy till 7 p.m. is Central. Well, is this giving me Central time? I don't know, but it's supposed to be cloudy the whole night through, guys. I mean, that's all that really matters. No rain. That bodes well for us. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with the rain next week in Orlando, but that's probably going to be a case. Oh, well. Omega Red, hope you're doing well, man. Of course, I picked them to win. They better win. They better win. I think I got them winning by 7. I forget what my prediction was with Russ, but at the end of the day, Buffs cover. Buffs cover that -2. That's how I feel about it. Zion saying, hey, Dave, I think CU needs to go after mostly the trenches in high school recruiting. Yes. I think those are the prospects that need the most development, right? And they take the most time to develop. I think the younger you can get them in your program, the better, right? We've seen the ups and downs and the pains of trying to build lines through the transfer portal. Now that we kind of got our stockpile here, on both lines for the starting fronts, now it's time to kind of back end that offensive and defensive line with some younger talent. I think we've done a little bit better of a job with that in terms of the roster building on the offensive line already. Again, we got guys like Peyton Kirkland and Zach Owens already in the fold. Of course, Jordan C, and we all know that. So, I think we're a little bit ahead than where we're at on the defensive line. But we'll have to see. I think next year we can expect very strong years out of both Arden Walker and Samuel Okunloa and Taj McCoy. That's awesome. But what about the interior? That remains to be seen a little bit. Domestic Hole is USC getting cooked. They're just like Nebraska, hasn't been tested, and the talent isn't really that good. I believe that's what you're saying, isn't. But what about that game last night? How about that game? Illinois, Nebraska. That was an awesome game. And you saw Nebraska's protection just kind of break down at the end. Raiola definitely kind of had those freshman moments you were waiting to see when he was going to have those last night. Ball security at the end, all of that. But great team win for Illinois. If you guys didn't know this, I grew up about an hour north of Chicago. So I did have some friends that went to University of Illinois, and all of them were very happy after yesterday's victory. And how about Brett Bielema, man? Nobody would have thought anything with him coming to U of I, and he's done a great job of rebuilding that program. I'm Water Guy. Let's get the thumbs up, please. The Buffs official channel to obtain the latest information. Hey, I appreciate that. I try to be the best information guy I can out here, but we know, like my friend Bird's Eye View, I think he had all this posted immediately on Friday when all this news was dropped. So y'all, please be sure. I got to get Bird's Eye View on the show here now that I'm settled into my house here in San Antonio. Yeah, I got to have him on the show. We got to talk about all this recruiting, and Colin too. I got to get with Colin and Big Dog. Yeah, Zion, you pointed out what I was definitely thinking. CU doesn't have any high school recruits on the D-line for the 2025 class. Yeah, let's see what Damian Lewis and Warren Sapp can kind of cook up, right? I mean, with Warren Sapp coming over here, I'm expecting that we're going to be able to get some big fish on the defensive line, right? Right? I get at least a couple interesting prospects on the defensive line. Whatever happened to Omar White? Did he end up going to Syracuse? Is he playing college football this year? I'm looking this up right now. UAB. Maybe that's a... Am I too early for saying, hey, maybe this is a, something we should have on the radar for a potential transfer? Interesting. I would love to see Omar White here still. I would love to see it. That's just me, though. Shirley Kimball, good to see you. Happy game day. Enjoy the game today. Again, guys, have fun with this. We all have our expectations coming into the game. We want our Buffs to do well. But once that kickoff starts, enjoy the game. Enjoy the game for what it is. Hopefully, it's going to be a great game in our favor. I am Water Guy. Question, please rank our running back group. Talking about our best running backs. I'll go with Dallin Hayden. I'll go with him number 1. I'll go with Michael Welsh number 2. Isaiah Augustive number 3. I'll go with Brandon Hood number 4. And then I'll go with Charlie Offerdahl number 5. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of Brandon Hood this game, depending on what the score is, right? They gave him such a high speed rating in the video game. Everybody's always talking about on Twitter how fast he is. Again, this was a guy that was a preferred walk-on at Georgia. And it's not because he wasn't a scholarship level player in the SEC. He had multiple scholarship SEC offers, but he wanted to play for the Georgia Bulldogs until this opportunity opened up for all the Hood family members, because there's 3 of them, to make it out here to Boulder. Colton Hood, and I guess he's got another cousin here. They have another cousin, but get to play college football with your brother. That's always really cool. We know it's a family affair thing out here in Boulder, which is really cool. So that's kind of how I would rank it right now in terms of just raw ability or like raw talent. That's probably how I would rank it. But starting today's game with Dallin Hayden out with that high ankle, again, you don't want to rush back a high ankle sprain. Let's see what Michael Welsh can do and Isaiah Augustive can do after that great performance that they gave last week together. I think you start out the first couple drives with Michael Welsh, see what he can get going, and then rotate in Isaiah Augustive after that. But let's ride the hot hand. Let's not, man, this Scadaboo is so good. Let's not just get caught up in the names and the money and all that, man. Let's just play the best guys. Seniority, all that. Let's just play the best guys. Zion, that interior D-line for CU will be empty after this year. Yes. CU has to go after younger players to develop for the future. Yes, yes, yes. And I know that CU's kind of done this more so since Prime has been here, where you've had a lot of visits, I guess, that have happened that haven't been disclosed because they are committed to other schools, not always wanting to ruffle feathers. I do love the fact that we're going after a bunch of guys that are committed to other programs, such as Carde Smith, Smitty Smith. That's cool. Getting after these recruits that are already committed to big-time programs, but would love to start to see some more momentum move in our favor there, as we are starting to see more and more high school prospects announce their commitment as the fall is developing. UAB is G5. It's not a bad look. That's not a bad look. No, definitely not. I wonder how, man, what's his name that transferred to Memphis? Eric Brantley's doing. But anyways, yeah, hey, I would love to still see Omar White here. I just want some big bodies. I just want some big bodies here in the interior that we can develop, where Damian Lewis and Warren Sapp are able to really put their stamp on some of these prospects and develop them. But I don't want to be in a situation where sometimes CU has been in this problem in the past where we just have to play our young guys. Granted, with the transfer portal, we'll be able to fill that to some degree. But I'm thinking for this unit to reach its ultimate potential, you got to have the back stock of those linemen to develop. You're absolutely right, Zion. Overall player ratings. Black unis, gold helmet. I love it. I love it. I love the black unis, especially at night in prime time. I always think it looks the best. Black, gold looks great. And yeah, we'll go wide another time. We've done this in the past too, where it's been like a student section whiteout before when they've had other colors on the field. That kind of bugs me a little bit, but it's not really anything to get super upset about. I'm sure the whiteout's going to look great, but always kind of weird how it's like we're wearing black. We're not doing a blackout in the stadium. Why? Lucius Commodus, do you think Seton is going to stay if we don't have a winning season? And do you think Juju is still on his way to CU? Oh, man. Well, if we have a losing season, let's say we don't win one more game or anything like that, I wonder if Prime just retires. But at that point, you have no idea what's going to happen with any of these guys. But I think we are going to have a better year. I think we are going to be bowl eligible. So, yeah, at that point, like I would wonder if, Prime just wants to travel around and watch Silo and Shador every Sunday and all that stuff. But I don't think that's the case. But if that happens, I could see a lot of players choosing to transfer out depending on who we hire. If I'm going through this scenario, what's great is that this program is so much more on the map because of Prime. And I think that, again, there's so many things that have changed prior to Prime being here because of Prime that the foundation for the football program is just it's in so much healthier of a position. It's so much more stable. We don't have those dumb transfer credit issues anymore. We're not trying to pretend like we're Stanford or something like that with not allowing these guys to come in and get like general degrees or whatever, not allowing their credits to transfer in, which was really limiting our ability to hit the transfer portal in the past. Like the funding, we're in so much better of a spot than where we were. And who knows how all that would turn out, but I'm not really one for speculating this early or spending too much time talking about that because we got a season to enjoy. I know some people want to see more of Amari Miller. I think we will see more of him, but at the end of the day, we have 4 really talented receivers that are all, well, they're all seniors, and plus Travis Hunter, who might as well be a senior with how he plays, right? So I think Omari Miller would have left if he was adamant about getting the most amount of playing time this year. I just think he wants to be here with what we got going on. But anytime you have a coaching change happen, that roster turnover happens. But I think as long as things continue to show progression here, you'll see players stick around. And I think one thing that you got to remind yourself about Jordan Seaton is that he did talk about he's wanting to build a legacy here, wanting to be part of rebuilding a program from nothing. He wants to be part of something truly special like that. And that's what Prime is selling. That's what Prime's selling here, is like rebuilding something that was once great 20, 30 years ago, returning to greatness. And I think setting themselves up well to be a big time player in the Big 12 in college football moving forward. So long-winded answer, I guess, for me to say I think he'll stick around. But I also see us having 6 wins at the worst. Old school. No to all those questions, Lucius. You said what I said in 5 minutes in like 5 seconds. Old school. Credit to you. But let's do a quick. Let's take a look at all the scores here in the Big 12. Take a look at what's going on here in the conference. Again, it's been a really interesting conference so far, where you've had a lot of Jekyll and Hyde, a lot of up and down performances from teams in the conference. And I think every game CU has on their schedule is winnable. Will they play disciplined, pro-style football every week? That's the big question. Oh, that's really cool. Shador Sanders at 999 yards. So he'll reach 1,000 today. That's awesome. And Travis Hunter, again, even just on the offensive side, is putting up insane numbers, on pace right now for 120 catches, like 1,400 yards and 20 TDs. Insane. And you can still go for a reasonable price today. If I was in Colorado, this would definitely be a game that I'd be wanting to go to. But I am enjoying the warmer weather out here. I think I'm going to try and go to like a UTSA game or something when CU's on a bye. We'll see if it lines up for me to do that. Go to the Alamo Dome. But here we got Kansas. Kansas beating West Virginia. I think that, they're another winnable game. No doubt about it. I think they've shown themselves to be a little bit more vulnerable than we expected coming into the season. Iowa State handling Arkansas State as they should. This is a game that I have on right now, Arizona State and Texas Tech. And right now I'm feeling so much better about that Texas Tech game in Lubbock. I think we can go in there and win. Utah against Oklahoma State. I think that this is going to be a low-scoring affair, and it's playing out that way right now. Keep an eye on Zach Wilson's little brother, Isaac Wilson. Doesn't he look just like Zach Wilson? He does to me. Getting the start for an injured Cam Rising, a freshman. And I believe he's a true freshman. They're out of the state of Utah. I'll be cheering for Utah. TCU against SMU. We have the Disciples of Christ of TCU taking on the Methodists of SMU. We'll see how that goes. Kansas State taking on BYU. I think Kansas State is the best team we have right now in the conference. They should handle BYU, but you never know. Maybe that BYU atmosphere kind of rattles a young quarterback a little bit. We'll have to see. And then you saw Cincinnati really take care of Houston. I was surprised to see this final score with Cincinnati now to 3-1. So that they're playing very well. And I know we got them coming up here in a few weeks. Took care of business against Houston, beat Towson, an FCS program, I believe, in Miami, Ohio, G5. close loss to Pitt. So, yeah, maybe the Bearcats aren't as much of a gimme as I was thinking, but love to see that. I think parity-wise, the Big 12, they're going to give you some great close games as conference season progresses. I think it's going to be really, really fun to just watch a lot of these games. No doubt about it. But, man, Central Time Zone, it really sucks, man. These 9:30 kickoffs blow. Let's see what else you guys got to say. Overall player ratings, the Big 12 is wide open. So many unpredictable teams. I think the Big 12 championship teams will both have multiple conference losses. And if that's the case, I think that bodes really well for CU's chances. But I would say, just because you haven't seen a team be totally dominant yet, I think, again, probably the best team to come out of the Big 12 right now is I put my money on Kansas State, but we'll have to see. Do you see any scenario where Cormani McLean is coming back to Boulder since the Gators aren't playing? Absolutely not. No way. No way. And yeah, tells you all you need to know by the fact that he was a walk-on for the Gators. With the way that he talked about the program and Coach Prime coming out of there, like totally burned bridges. And we're not we're kind of a program that even if you flip away from us, you know, you're committed and you just flip, like we kind of move on. So we're definitely not doing that with players that transfer out and then want to come back. Yeah, he didn't leave right. Yeah. And this wasn't a good situation like for him. And you got to wonder if there is a good situation for him with him not playing. But you know, I want him to figure it out at Florida. I would love to see him figure it out, get playing time, correct some of those things that he's in control of. I don't want to see him waste that talent. Sadly, it seems like that's kind of the path it might be going on. Yeah, K-State's a really good team. Really good team. And that running back combo they got out there with Giddens and Dylan Edwards, it's a lot of fun to watch, man. It's a lot of fun to watch. It hurts me. I would still love to have Dylan Edwards on this team, but business is business, man. It adds to the rivalry. And hopefully with Kansas State coming in here, that would be great if we could give our best performance. I think we're going to need our best performance of the year to beat a team like Kansas State. See, I love this comment, Lucius. I'm not going to lie. I've been very much looking forward to us playing Kansas and Dylan Edwards to get back for him leaving, but they look like they'll be tough to defeat at this point so far. Yeah, I totally feel the same. Like, I didn't want to see Dylan go, but I love the fact that he's coming back to Boulder this year. It's going to be a grudge match. It's our opportunity to seek revenge, man. No doubt about it. But we're going to have to play really, 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 really close to perfect football, I think, in order to beat them. They're just well coached. They have a lot of talent. And but being at home, I think that gives us a chance in any of these games. I mean, you've seen at home last year in teams that perform much better than us throughout the season. We were close. We were close to beating them. Arizona, we should have beat them. That was a home game. Oregon State, I truly believe we were in that game, and that was going to be a close game until that game, how Coach Prime wanted to manage it there at the end of the second quarter. It was just an absolute momentum killer, but we were right there in the game, man. I think that was still like a 10-point game or something like that before that going into the half. So I love the fact that we got Kansas State at home. That's going to give us a chance now, like, you know, taking off I want the Buffs to win every game, which I do, and just trying to look at it a little bit more realistically. Kansas State's one of those matchups that I didn't predict us winning before the season. But again, don't mistake that for me saying there's not opportunity for us to win that game, and there's not scenarios in which anytime you have two and you have him protected and you got a little bit of a running game too, like, you're going to have a chance. And I'm so excited to see how this Robert Livingston defense is going to come out in their first conference game today. It's been great to see this defense play really well against Baylor. I think that we did a fine job against North Dakota State with a vanilla defense. In my opinion, Robert Livingston knew he was going to be giving up those quarterback runs and stuff like that, and they were going to be okay living with that. Nebraska, I didn't really take too much silver linings or anything from that second half, but you at least did what you should and pitched a shutout there in the second half when honestly they're just trying to run clock in my mind. So you at least did the bare minimum there with what you should have done. So it's great to see. I feel like our defense is gaining confidence, momentum, and we've stayed generally healthy. Now, I do think it was funny yesterday. We were talking a little bit about Shiloh, and I think that's a fair point. Somebody brought up, I was thinking about this earlier this morning. I think it's fair. Like with Carter Stoutmeyer out there with Cameron Silman Craig, I think we do have a little bit more speed out there at the safety position. And maybe that is why we're getting a little bit better of a defensive performance with Carter out there. So, yeah, I'll still stick on it, man. I think Carter is one of our better players in the secondary. He's going to be a starter for us next year. These games like this are just invaluable with a young player like him right now. By the way, Jaden Milner-Jones isn't even starting at SMU right now, and that's kind of been disappointing to see. I would have loved if he would have stuck around, but it is what it is. He was committed to SMU before he flipped on signing day to us. I was assuming he was going to SMU because he just would have had a quicker opportunity to play. Overall players rating saying, I like BYU for the midnight upset. Wouldn't that be great? Let's see what the Mormons can do. Let's see what the Cougars can do and their super acrobatic mascot. But kind of interesting that Zach Wilson's little brother, Isaac Wilson, went to Utah, not BYU. That's going to add to that holy war rivalry between the two schools that we'll see later this year. Let me see when they actually play each other, because that's one of the matchups in the Big 12 that I'm most looking forward to this year. Okay, they play November 9th in Salt Lake City. And I went on vacation a few summers ago to Salt Lake City. Really cool. Stayed at like an Airbnb there in Salt Lake City, just right by campus, by the University of Utah campus. Beautiful. I think it's really cool because they have a light rail that will take you right from campus all the way to downtown, which I mean is like a 10, 15-minute drive, something like that. It's not too far away. But yeah, like really beautiful campus, really beautiful city. And anyways, I had a good time there, man. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, this will be a great game. One of the most watched games of the year, I bet. Hopefully that's in prime time. Let's check on UCF, see how they've done, because we are playing them soon, next week. Dominating win over New Hampshire, dominating win over Sam Houston. Those are lower level programs. 1-point victory on the road against TCU. That's really nice. So coming back, first home game against a Power 4 opponent in Colorado. I think this is going to be a really fun game. Gus Malzahn is a coach that I have a lot of respect for. And man, these guys are really rushing the ball. They might have, they do have already over 1,100 rushing yards. You don't even need to pass it too much. 61 attempts for their quarterbacks, 51 attempts for KJ Jefferson through 3 games. Wow. And they're coming off a bye week. So they got a bye week to prepare for us. That's kind of annoying. But maybe they'll be out the gate starting a little slow, right? I mean, one can hope. Yeah, anyways, guys. Let's go ahead and take a look again at what we got going on for Colorado Baylor. Let's see if this line has changed at all. Then maybe I'll get to the gym before So right now, ESPN has Colorado at a -1. Very interesting. Money line is under 51.5. Kind of interesting. So they think both teams will probably score within the 20s, but no one breaking 30 probably. Money line even for Baylor, -120 for Colorado. Wow. Okay. Very, very interesting that line is kind of closed up a little bit. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think CU covers, and covering with a -1. I mean, you got to have them. They got to win by more than one. Let's take a look at the statistics leaders. So, yeah, Shedeur already has over twice the attempts as KJ Jefferson does. Pretty interesting. 70.2 completion percentage. And hopefully here, man, Michael Welsh leading our backfield in yards per carry. Maybe this might be a game to integrate Draylon Miller a little bit more. I've wanted to talk about him earlier this week, and I just always keep forgetting to. But this is a guy that we didn't see much of against Colorado State in terms of just like being targeted. He was on the field for a handful of snaps, I remember, against CSU. But maybe this is a game where you kind of integrate him more, see how Baylor can do covering him along with the other speedy weapons that we have, because you could show like a 5-wide look, like we did against North Dakota State, but have him line up in the backfield, and that might create some issues, especially if he's matched up on a linebacker or a slower safety, something like that. So would love to see more Draylon Miller integrated, but guys that I'm going to be watching mostly are Michael Welsh, Isaiah Gustive, as well as that right side of the offensive line. How did Phillip Houston and DT2 hold up going up against some other Big 12 talent this game? Not a bad CSU team. Let's hope they build on that performance. But 30 receptions through 3 games for Travis Hunter is just absolutely insane. That is insanity. That is video game numbers. I think he can keep up this pace. I think he can do it. So, yeah, but this is a game where we also got to be perfect on special teams. We can't be giving up points in the kicking game. We can't have Mark Bassett shanking punts at home. We have to flip field position when that's possible. And my goodness, I'm seeing these highlights right now of Michigan and USC, and Michigan has left a lot to be desired this year so far, but it seems like they are sticking it to USC. Welcome to the Big Ten, USC. It is a different kind of conference. And then here, LSU against UCLA. Interesting. 7-7, at least in this highlight tape. And Brian Kelly was definitely heated after that loss a couple weeks ago, but LSU is up right now, and UCLA 17-10. We'll just have to see. So, guys, unless you got anything else, I might just get out of here. Question, I'm Water Guy. What will it take for Travis Hunter to win a Heisman? I think it's continuing to put up, I think if he has double-digit touchdowns and over 1,000 yards with a handful of picks, and maybe has one pick six on the year, you have to give it to him, even if Colorado only wins 6 games. I think that just cements it for him, because you just don't see that. And you can make the argument that, hey, without Travis Hunter, we don't win any of these games, right? When he's putting that up. Now, I think that puts him in the conversation to win it. I think if we're winning, 7, 8, 9 games, and he continues that, it's going to be no doubt he wins the Heisman. MVP of the game, especially now that we're not dealing with any inclement weather, it's going to be LaJohntay Wester. We saw him get more comfortable last game against CSU. Didn't have those drops, anything like that. Baylor, they got to cover all of this speed. They got to cover Jimmy Horn. They got to cover Travis Hunter. I think this is a game where LaJohntay Wester can just eat them alive in the slot. Right now, Viral Authority, this is a good question. Who will have the most receiving yards amongst the wide receivers tonight? I'm not going to go with LaJohntay Wester. I think that he's going to have some of the biggest impact moments. That's why I got him as a player of the game or whatever. But I still think Travis Hunter is going to lead us in receiving yards, because he's been getting the volume. I mean, he's averaging 10 targets and over 100 yards receiving a game. Like, he's going to get the volume, and I don't think Baylor's got the guys to cover him. But for show coming in here saying Will Shep, maybe this is the Will Shepherd breakout game. And, we've seen some good moments from Will Shepherd, but kind of similar to LeJontay Wester, he's kind of had some ups and downs. But, yeah, maybe this is the game where Baylor's focusing on all these other guys. Will Shepherd's going to get some one-on-one coverage, and he can just eat. What's great is that I really do believe we have one of the best starting 4 in terms of wide receivers in college football. All these guys are tough to guard. You're going to have to pick and choose kind of who you're willing to let beat you. But Baylor, they can control some of this as well in terms of the pressure that they put on. I think Nebraska showed that in order to beat this team, you have to blitz. You got to bring either a really good pass rush of 4 down linemen, which Nebraska had. I'm not sure if Baylor has that, but they were even bringing 5 at certain points, making our offensive line block those guys one-on-one, or sometimes 6-on-5 with our running back there, and just saying, hey, you guys got to protect for Shedeur. I would assume that Baylor's going to come out with an aggressive plan like that, because I don't think sitting back, rushing 3 like they've been able to do against the lower level opponents that they've gone after, Baylor, that is, against Tarleton State and Air Force, and even Utah, like not the most dynamic offense, right? They're rushing 3, dropping back 8 a handful of times. With what I remember seeing, you're not going to be able to do that against Colorado. So again, the key to us is just taking pressure off Shedeur, pass protect. Can we have somewhat of a decent, efficient running game? So they're going to come out giving us light boxes at first. And so wouldn't it be great to just open up with a nice 6-yard gain on a run on 1st and 10 to open up our first possession? I think they're going to be giving us 5 in the box, because they're going to want to be focusing on these wide receivers and on the passing game. We still have to earn their respect in terms of being an offense that can run the ball as well as pass it. If you catch the long ball, he has 100 last game. Are we talking about Will Shepherd, or are we talking about LeJontay? I'm trying to remember that moment. If you can talk a little bit more about that moment for show gaming, I can comment a little bit more on it. Just need to be reminded. Sorry, man. David, what's up with all these late games? I got ish to do. I love the 11 a.m. joints. Aren't they convenient? The 11 a.m. ones are. And there weren't really that great of college football games on this morning. Like there weren't. It does kind of suck still with even moving towards the Big 10 or 12, just with the conferences expanding. We still have to have those late time zone games, because again, I'm interested in seeing what what BYU and Kansas State do tonight, right? It's not till 9:30. We'll be starting our post game a little bit after that, and we'll be able to catch the second half, no doubt. But yeah, with college football, man, you just got to be somebody that's willing to stay up late. Dizza, long time no see, dude. Nebraska is who I thought they were. The lights were too bright for some, and CU choked. Hey, we came out the gate rattled. We were not ready for that moment. We were not ready for it at all. That was disappointing. I'm sure you have watched at least somewhat of my reaction to that game a couple weeks ago. Hopefully, though, that was the turning point and the wake-up call that this team needed, and to where that worked as opposed to last season. Great bounce-back performance against CSU. Now we need to show that bounce-back performance was for real going against Baylor. That's what's very exciting about this game. I'm really pumped to see how we come out. But yeah, like, all credit to Nebraska. They are a really good football team, and they should feel no shame losing to Illinois yesterday. That's another really good program. I'm just sick of all the Mahomes talk. I'm sick of all the Mahomes talk with Patrick Mahomes Jr. over there at Nebraska. But did Patrick Mahomes really tweet, "Now this fool can stop acting like me all the time, or was that just a fake tweet? Because I thought that was pretty funny. TK saying, see you 35-24 tonight. I like it. I like it. I like it. 11-point victory for the Buffs. I think that would be great. I think that I think Adam Munstertiger had this, either him or Brian Howell had this as a double-digit victory for CU going into this game. Nebraska's not that good, great D-line, but they have average athletes. Man, I don't know. I think they got a lot of good athletes at the skill positions. We saw that firsthand. I think they're a really good team. I don't know. I'm still expecting them to be in the conference championship there for the Big Ten. Tonight is the night to see if we belong. You're absolutely right. I think we're up for the challenge. I'm Water Guy. You should request a media pass to go to the Texas Tech game now that you're officially a Texan. Maybe eventually I'll request one of those things. I just like being a fan, to be honest, and I like the fact that I can just go live with you guys after the games to get my instant reaction. And it's always nice to kind of compare my instant reaction with like 24 or 48 hours later. But I'm definitely like, it would be cool to watch the game on the sidelines for sure. Like to hear all the talk that's going on and trash talk and all that. I'm never interested in going to press conferences, asking dumb questions or asking questions that might piss off the coaches, like whatever. I'm just going to give you my opinion, but that'd be kind of cool to get a media pass to be on the sideline one day. But I guess I could have tried. I'd never even tried when I was living in Colorado last year. Yeah, Walmart Mahomes. I call him Mahomes nutsack. That's what I call him. How would Nebraska be in the Big Ten championship? Ohio State, Oregon, Michigan State, Penn State. It's not East-West division games anymore. Yeah, exactly. I still think that they could find themselves in the Big Ten championship. Oregon's kind of disappointed. I think Michigan's kind of taken a step back this year. When was the last time like Penn State truly lived up to expectation outside of Ohio State? I feel like it's pretty wide open right now. And yeah, maybe a team like Illinois or man, I forget where Wisconsin's at in terms of their record, even though we're just starting conference play. But yeah, I still feel like, or like Iowa, right? I feel like that number 2 spot is totally wide open. I think they're just as good as those teams that we mentioned outside of Ohio State. And they might even be a little bit more consistent than a program like Oregon right now, who has kind of been surprising to see how they've played coming out the gate. But it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish, and good coaching gets those teams to peak at the right time. We'll just have to see. But it would be pretty funny, Nebraska fans, if I'm Florida and I'm looking to move on from Billy Napier or whatever, Matt Rule seems like a nice little target, doesn't he? Seems like a nice target. Just going to throw that out there. I think that would be pretty funny. Everyone always wanted to give us a hard time. Oh, man, just wait till Coach Prime leaves. Yada, yada, yada. Well, Matt Rule to Florida seems kind of nice. Seems like that might work out fairly well if that were to be a thing, right? Be a shame. Be a shame if it happened, right? All right, guys. I think I'm gonna get out of here, but thanks for chiming in, guys. We have over 200 people in here in the chat. Enjoy the game today. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Be sure to like and subscribe on the way out, and be sure I do have that game. I'll put a link here in the chat to it for the post game. Turn on that bell notification. We'll go live like pretty much right afterwards with Carter Dillon. I'm excited for you guys to meet Carter. He is a brilliant football mind, does a lot of good stuff. No Raquel or Raquel, it is not going to rain. It's not going to rain. At least that's what my weather app is saying. So we'll be all right. So you guys have a wonderful few hours. I'll be back after the game. Buffs, let's get after this one. Let's show that we belong and we're here to make noise in the Big 12, baby. Go Buffs.